Honorable members, shall we pray? Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, we will turn to item 2. Item 2, roll call. So I'll respectfully ask the table to take us through the rule. Yes, table.
Abaka Samuel Erickson, Abanga Abdullahi Jacob Idris, Abdul Latif Dan, Abdul Salam Adams, Ablakwa Samuel Okujeto, Abuaji George Kwame, Abuaji Kwejo Nyampong, Abudulai Bazurera, Achampon Brian, Achampon Charles, Achampon Richard, Akwaku Sophia Karen Edem, Akwa Alexander Kwesi, Adam Hamza, Adam Mohammed Amin, Adam Skofidi, Adita Disafori, Adoya Frempong, Ejay Kwesi Boateng, Adum Frederick Obeng, Adumako Mensa Alex, Adumako Mensa Collins, Adongo Isaac, Edu Johnson Kweku, Edu Chumia Osei, Afenyo Markin Alexander Kwamina, Afro Lyric, Efrifa Mensa Kwesi Owusu, Efriye Nana Yu, Efriye Kweku, Agalga James, Agbeve Charles, Agboja Kwame Gobbins, Ejepon Ken Ohene, Ejari Alexander, Ejekum Emmanuel Kwejo, Ajimaimenu Kweku, Ajima Rawlings Zaneto, Ejenim Boating Kweku, Ahinkra Kingsley Carlos, Ahinkwa Frederick Yao, Ahi Samson, Ahiafo Bernard, Eidu William Oreku, Akando Kwabnaminta, Akanvariba Lydia Lamisi, Achia Samuel Lata, Alauzuga Albert Akuka, Al-Hassan Abdallah Idi, Al-Hassan Bashir El Fusaini, Al-Hassan Lydia Seyuram, Al-Hassan Saibu Suhini, Aliu Mahama Umar Farouk, Alaute Angela Uforiwa, Amankwa Nicholas, Amankwa Menu Kofi, Ameu John Peter, Ame Altreme Kwesi, Amwa Oseibonsu, Amwa Stephen, Amwaku Andre Siama, Amwaku Atakwesi, Ampim Thomas Nyako, Ampofu Chumesi Kwame, Amprechum Sapon Kweku, Andre Emmanuel Ejay, Enim Ernestiao, Enim Moses, Anodon Pre Frank, Entry Eugene Boache, Aniwedu Entry Kwame, Apak Clement Abbas, Apia J. Patricia, Apia Kubi Andy Kwame, Amma Prince Hamidu, Asamoah Vincent Opon, Asante Kwejo, Asante Boating Kweku, Asensu Boache Francis, Esiama Isaac Kwame, Esiama Kwabna Mankwa, Esiama Ejena Namadokua, Asafwa Vincent Eko, Atamil Samuel, Aveji James Kluche, Avoka Cletus Apu, Ewa Ignatius Bafo, Awuni Theresa Ladi, Ayamba Ladi Ayi, Ayariga Mahama, Ayiku Benjamin Nate, Ayine Dominic Kritinga, Befi Michael Lottery, Baba Benson Tongo, Baligi Bright Bachi Yoville, Bandi Mazuma Bednego, Bano Patrick, Batel Sheila, Bawa Edward Abambri, Bedra Emmanuel Kwesi, Bettino Joseph, Blankson Alex, Boachi Henry Yadom, Boachi Yadom Patrick, Boama Patrick Yao, Boatin Akwesi Daakon, Boatin Amapoma, Boatin Joseph Apia, Bobie Evans Opoku, Botre Daniel, Brahima Muhammad Bawa, Boa Emmanuel Amakofi, Bukari Joseph Nipe, Chinya Amid Wishahaku, Trajia Samson Tongumbo, Chiwete Andrew Dari, Kwensola Beku, Kujo Comfort Doyo, Kujo Joseph, Kujo Robert Wisdom, Dafia Mako Roxen Nelson Echekwame, Dalu Thomas Ada, Dapila Cleto Seidu, Dakun Daniel Ohene, Daku Mensa Kwabnotre, Dauda Collins, Dawuni Abukari, Derry Ambrose, John Obua Alex Tete, Donko Elvis Morris, Donko Kwabna, Luka George Mreku, Eyanana, Fojo John in team, Force and Castle Atoba, Bon Joseph, Gakpe Kwame Jujoli, George Samuel Nate, Gansa Al Hassan Kobna, Gate Joe, Gidiso Wisdom, Gomado Yao, Gomashi Ablajifa, Jenfi Emmanuel Akwesi, Jan Alexander, Jan Mensa Richard, Hammond Kobnata Hill, Hansen Norte Yves, Haruna Seidu, Hayford Ophelia Mensa, Hotoje Alexander Roosevelt, Ibrahim Ahmed, Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad, Ibrahim Azurera Mohammed, Idrisu Habib, Idrisu Haruna, Isifu Seidu, Jabbar John Benham, Jaja Yusuf Isaka, Jalula Stephen Pambin, Joshua Godfrey Seidu, Jinapo John Abdullahi, Jinapo Samuel Abdullahi, Kinney Jeffrey, Kisi Dixon Adomako, Kunedu Akwesi, Kumsen Mavis Hawa, Kosa Martin Kwekwe J. Mensa, Podo Benjamin Komla, Ebenezer Kojo, Kuma Joseph Kwame,
Present.
Kuyon Solomon, Kwachi Aka Peter Yao, Kwati Nkwe Kwajimain, Kofi Festus Ewa, Chei Mensa Bonsu Osei, Tremi Nelson, Labi Oscar Ofori, Late Agnes Namomo, Liwal Oscar, Mahama Asiesieni, Mahama Nasir Ture, Menu Adabo Francis, Mafu Emmanuel, Mafu Kofia Himkwa, Mbomba Thomas, Mensa Betty Nanefua Crosby, Mensa Francisca Otain, Mensa Isaac Ej, Mensa Joseph Kwesi, Mensa Tina Gifty Nayele, Mensa Andrew Kofi Japa, Morrison Cynthia Mamle, Muntaka Muhammad Mubarak, Musa Abdulaziz Ayaba, Nanja Sanja, Napari Dominic, Nawani Mark Kurt, Newman Dakwa, Nitiwu Dominic Benga Majuna, Inkansa Bwedu Mavis, Nokoi Kofi Ako, Nogbe Ernest Henry, Inti Collins, Helen Ajua, Nyakote Albert Tete, Nyako Bismarck, Nyako Kingsley, Nyako Kwamina Minta, Obintechi George Kwabena, Obimboatin Alfred, Oklulindo Hinewa Akwele, Odampton Isaac Asha, Ofoswe Jari Elizabeth, Okofu Data Williams, Ochria Jekum Kofi, Opoku Davis Ansa, Opoku Eric, Opoku Isaac Yao, Opon Kroma Kojo, Osei John Frimpong, Osei Kennedy Nyako, Osei Asari Abuna, Osei Wusu Joseph, Oti John Kwabna Blaise, Otute Christian Kolete, Owusubio Benito, Owuswekuful Esla, Peito Desmond de Graft, Pelpo Abdul Rashid, Prempe Frida Kosia, Prempe Matthew Opoku, Kwate Henry, Kwe Jason James Jechi, Ramadan Mohammed Adamu, Ricketts Hagan George Kweku, Safu Sarah Ajua, Sandari Sabasen Meniso, Sanid Suleiman Adamu, Sani John Kobna Abam Aboa, Soya Queen Samami Pokwa, Sefe Richard Kwame, Setra Benjamin Yabua, Sosu Francis Xavier Kojo, Sowa Dela Ajua, Sowa Rita Na Odole, Suparu Adams Mohammed, Sulemana Adama, Sulemana Al-Hassan Tampuli, Sulemana Yusuf, Suma Anthony Mpikara, Tahidu Abdul Razak, Teria Augustine, Telabi Ebenezer Oklite, Tete Joycelyn, Tete Sylvester, Tete Agbotri Gisela, Tete Joseph Akwete, Tofi Dorcas, Tobu Peter Lanchini, Tuferu Mohammed Hadi, Chum Ampofu Gifty, Chum Berima Paula Preku, Yusuf Mustafa, Vandapoy Alfred Oko, Vandapoy Edwin Nilante, Vondi David, Wakao Daniel Insala, Reku Brobe Bright, Woyo Mekobna Mensa, Zidin Bid and Watazumo.
Thank you very much, table. Honorable members, we don't have any message from the presidency. Neither do we have any formal communication from the speaker. So, honorable members, let's turn to item 5. Item 5, correction of votes and proceedings, and that of official report. Votes and proceedings, we start from page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker.
Yes, honorable member for
Bolga East.
Bolgatanga
East.
East.
Right,
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I was marked absent on page 3, but I was here yesterday.
You were here yesterday.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was here.
Did you register?
Yes, I did.
You did.
No, okay. When I came, I was told that the register book was taken into the chamber. And I came and Mr. Speaker, I greeted you at the Speaker's lobby. I was here. I greeted you and the first Deputy Speaker at the Speaker's lobby.
Honorable member, I'm not challenging
Very
whether
well,
you
Mr.
were
Speaker.
here or not. I asked a simple question. Did you register?
Very well. I cannot recall that I registered or not.
So, honorable members, just check Anyway, so table, just take note of that. Return to page 5. Page 6. Honorable, are you up on your feet?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I was here yesterday and I also registered. I was here until proceedings were adjourned, but I'm not absent, so if that can be corrected, please.
Will you speak to the mic, please?
Not absent. I was here yesterday and I also registered, but I've been marked absent, so if that can be corrected.
You insist you registered?
Yes, please. I did.
Okay, table, just go through the records. If he registered, then you effect the corrections. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page number 10. Yes, honorable member for Saudari.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, item number Roman numeral 2 under item number 7 on page 10, where it's conveyed that based on the two statements you directed the House Committee to consider and report to the House on the provision of medical care. On the provision of medical care.
May you speak to the mic? I can't hear
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm saying that it should read report to the House on the provision of medical care and other related facilities for members of Parliament. Yes.
you. Okay. Table. Kindly take note. We move to page 11. Page 12. Page 10. And finally, page 14. Honourable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of 19th sitting of the first meeting of Parliament held yesterday, Thursday, the 7th of March, is hereby adopted as the true records of proceedings. Honourable members, I have in my hands the official report of 12 December 2023. The official report of 12 December 2023. Honourable members, I take it again. The official report of 12 December 2023. Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official report of 12 December 2023 is hereby adopted as the true records of proceedings. Return to item 6. Item 6, business statement for the 6th week. Yes, leader.
Speaker, I seek your leave to vary order of business for us to move on to item 8 instead, after which we'll revert to item 6. With your leave.
Yes, minority leadership.
Mr. Speaker, I think that was agreed at conclave for the women to make the statement on the International Women's Day. So we have no problem with that.
Very well. So, honorable members, let's turn to item 8, statements. Item 8, statements. And I have with me a statement from honorable member for honorable member, the name of your constituency? Autu Senya East. Honorable Howard Kunsen, who doubles as the caretaker minister for gender, children, and social protection. Honorable Minister, I understand today is a Women's Day, and you want to make a statement to that effect. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with you to grant me the opportunity to ask colleagues to join hands and observe a minute silence for our departed brother. As a mother, I cannot speak without doing this. Thank you.
Well. We were going to do that, but once you've already requested, let's just get up and observe a minute silence for our brother. May the soul of our brother and colleague, Honorable John Kuma, and the soul of all departed members from this chamber rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is a pleasure and an honor to be given the opportunity to make a statement on the floor of this August House as the caretaker minister for the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. As we celebrate the 2024 International Women's Day, which falls on 8th March every year. Mr. Speaker, every year, the 8th of March is set aside globally to celebrate the social, economic, culture, and political achievements of women. Women across the world are celebrated for their continuous strive for excellence and hard work in national development. On this salute and celebrate women's achievements and call for increased advocacy for the promotion of gender equality, equity, as well as women and girls' empowerment. The global theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, with the campaign theme, #Invest in Women, #. Indeed, this year's commemoration presents us with the opportunity to celebrate and invest in the social, economic, and political participation of women. It is also a time for action to highlight the pressing challenges that women continue to face in the areas of discrimination, violence, abuse, and economic exclusion by creating a safe space for all women through sustainable investment. Mr. Speaker, investing in women is not only an economic strategy, it includes their human, social, and health rights and needs. Therefore, as a country, we must consider policies that enhance equality and equity, and the full integration of women into the national development process for sustainable growth. I must emphasize that government places utmost importance on efforts that has to do with empowering, promoting, and protecting the rights of women and affording them the platform to propel their innovations and ingenuity. The government's efforts in promoting gender equality and women empowerment are evident in the enactment of laws, development of policies, strategies, and commitment to international instruments. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has currently reviewed and updated the National Gender Policy. This policy seeks to create equal opportunities for all by mainstreaming gender equality and women's empowerment concerns into our national development process to ensure that no one is left behind. The Affirmative Action Bill, which is also before Parliament for debate, seeks to effectively address the social, cultural, economic, and political gender imbalances, as well as promote a progressive increase in the active participation of women in public life. Currently, the Social Protection Bill is before Parliament for our debates and will provide a good opportunity to promote the full employment and decent work for the vulnerable, who are mostly women, to ensure their productive inclusion in ending poverty in all its forms in the country. Mr. Speaker, for us to promote our advocacy agenda and advance change, we ought to build stronger partnership as enshrined in the Sustainable Development Goal 5. As leaders and lawmakers, we are obliged to pass laws that address gender concerns, leading to gender mainstreaming at all levels. I urge us all to create an all-inclusive environment that will help promote integration, diversity, investment, and collaboration for women in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection on this occasion wishes to applaud all women of the Republic of Ghana, irrespective of their field of work, for their immense contribution to national development. We also salute our champions, our male champions, for supporting the cause of gender equality and women empowerment. The ministry believes that the commemoration of this year's International Women's Day will intensify efforts towards advancing gender equality. in the context of investing in women. I wish all women of Ghana and women all over the world a happy International Women's Day. And Mr. Speaker, you cannot spell hero without her. And so women should be and must be appreciated. God bless the women of Ghana. God bless women globally. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Let me start with Pusiga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by my sister and equally a woman. Mr. Speaker, the International Women's Day theme is for us to accelerate progress. Mr. Speaker, the theme simply says accelerate progress. This is because women have a lot of potential that needs to be unearthed. And so all women around the world need that opportunity, that support, that unity, that team play to ensure that we progress. Mr. Speaker, in this house of ours today, we have 40 women, members of parliament from various places. All have individual potentials. This notwithstanding, we are still looking for better opportunities to increase the numbers in this house, because we know for sure that out of 275, we are only 40. And so we pray, hope, and ask for support to ensure that we have that support to progress. Mr. Speaker, women have come a long way. We have had the opportunities of people like the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who actually appointed some women to the highest level in decision making. Today, we have been battling for not less than a decade on how to ensure that at least a bill that will support us is passed in this house. It's more than difficult. I have looked at issues and I have listened to people, Mr. Speaker, and I think that the affirmative action bill can only be passed and worked with if we women ourselves will stay united and seek the support of the men. It's not an easy path. We talk about the issues of women in leadership, women in decision-making positions, and what have you. But unfortunately, not only from the angle from where I am coming, but I can say across the whole Ghana, it is a difficult venture for us women. How do we make it? All we are seeking is that support to ensure that women who are interested, women who have the potential, be given that opportunity to progress to the next level. Mr. Speaker, we have had women in the past in leadership positions. In leadership positions, some of them are still alive, I will say it's not who are yet to and are interested. And even we have the younger ones. Mr. Speaker, whenever we talk about the issue of women, and people look at it from the highest level. We have the younger ones. We were also as young as them before we got to where we are today. What are we doing to urge them on? Mr. Speaker, education is key. Education is very, very important. They need that support to get the education and to make good use of it. Most of them who have spoken time and again about sanitary pads. And I think that people look at it as if it's something that we just want to talk about. No, it is something that is a need. It's not a want for the girl child. And most of these children that we talk about are girls who could have come up to occupy these same positions that we are occupying when we have retired. But here we are. Mr. Speaker, it will take this House to ensure that that support is given. The Ministry of Education is called to come in and help us so that we can support the girl child down there. Mr. Speaker, much as I wish I could continue talking and talking and talking, I want to congratulate we women in this House, the 40 of us, for all the effort, and to encourage us, urge us on to continue to fight. All the women of Ghana, every single woman, and especially our mothers, those at home and unfortunately haven't had the opportunity to go to school, they shouldn't relent their efforts in supporting the girl child. They shouldn't relent the effort in supporting we women. They should make sure that they support us whenever the need arises. In our elections, they should support us, and they should ensure that wherever a woman is found, they vote for that woman to ensure that the woman is put in decision making and is recognized. So, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't want to go political, so I wouldn't. What I would have said, I don't want to say it. But I am saying it because we need women. We are talking about women. Whether you are NDC, you are MPP, you are CPP, you are any of the Ps, I urge you to vote for the NDC this time round, because at the end of the day, the NDC has picked a running mate who is a woman and a woman of substance. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes. Let me come to turn on off. Honorable Dr. Frida Prempe.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the statement on the floor to commemorate the International Women's Day. Mr. Speaker, the first International Women's Day was celebrated in 1911. More than 100 years ago, we are still celebrating International Women's Day. The question I want to ask myself, what have we been able to achieve over 100 years? And what are the gaps? And what can be done? Mr. Speaker, the worth of a woman is immeasurable. Women contribute a lot to the society, to their families, and to their communities. Mr. Speaker, women have also achieved a lot, even though there's still more room for improvement. We are talking about achievements in terms of politics, in all other sectors of the economy. Mr. Speaker, politically, I don't think we've been able to achieve so much. If we really want to bridge the gender disparity gap by 2030, then we have to work harder. My colleague on the other side spoke about the affirmative action.
The affirmative action bill is just to bridge the gender disparity gap between men and women. Women are not saying that we want to take over from men, but we want women also to be counted. Mr. Speaker, even in terms of STEM, science, technology, engineering, women have achieved a lot. In terms of literature and arts, we have achieved a lot. And in terms of business and entrepreneurship, today we are celebrating women. We are celebrating the achievements and the contributions and the efforts of women. We are saying that what a man can do, a woman can equally do same, given the opportunity. But women being given the opportunity to thrive, the question still remains so huge. And I believe that as we continue to celebrate women, as we continue to celebrate their achievements, we will give women the opportunity to unearth their hidden potentials. Mr. Speaker, we all contributed to the Women's Manifesto, which was published in 2008 and published again in 2011. Mr. Speaker, we all spoke about women's economic empowerment, women and land, women in politics, women and human rights and law, cultural practices, women in media, women in conflict and peace, women with special needs. Mr. Speaker, name it. We all came out with a communique. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, let me just enumerate a few and ask ourselves if we've been able to achieve what we set to do for ourselves. Women contribute a lot to the society, whether in agric, whether in science, education, entrepreneurship, leadership, business, name it. But when it comes to the roles that women play, when it comes to recognition, it becomes a problem. Not only in politics, but in all spheres of the economy. Mr. Speaker, we all agreed that all arms of government and political parties take action to promote the transformation of the political culture to make it more transparent, accountable, and sensitive to the needs and concerns of women. Where are we now? What have we achieved? And what are we doing to be able to bridge this gap? We all agree that political parties ensure that by the year 2008, we are in 2024, at least 50% representation of women in party executives and other decision-making process. We are still battling. Even with the 30% representation by the year 2030, is becoming a problem. I'm happy that the theme for this year is to ensure that we promote the growth of women. How can we promote the growth of women when we don't even recognize their efforts? How long can we continue to celebrate women annually? I believe that women ought to be celebrated every day, but we wait till 8 March every day before we come out to celebrate women. Just we can all agree that political parties promote affirmative action. We are still battling with affirmative action, whether in terms of protest, whether in terms of giving women the opportunity. We are still battling with affirmative action. And I believe that when we start the debate on the affirmative action, our male counterparts will support the bill. We are not saying that we want to take over from you, but we want to be part of the decision-making process. Because as we sit in this house, we are only 40 women here. And most of the time, decisions affecting women are most of the time taken by the majority of us who are men. How many of us here are women? And today, we are still talking about affirmative action. And we hope that as we celebrate International Women's Day today, the affirmative action is just at the corner in this house. The good people, our male counterparts, will support us. Mr. Speaker, we also said that by the year 2008, we are in 2024, at least 50% of appointees ought to be women. Mr. Speaker, until gender parity is achieved, women accepted as parliamentary candidates and assembly members should be supported financially. We are still battling with financial support for women. Today, as we celebrate women, as we talk about the growth of women, we can only do that by continuously empowering our women, by empowering our young girls, by making sure that they go back to school, by investing in women's opportunities, in skill development, skill training. We can also support them by helping them to acquire some vocational skills. Empowerment of women is very key if you want to promote the growth of women. Mr. Speaker, education and skill development is equally important if you want to promote the growth of women. Health and the well-being of women is very key, and our political participation at all levels, whether from the district assembly level to the parliamentary level or to the managerial level, wherever we find ourselves, women ought to be part of the decision-making process. As we celebrate women today, I want to use this opportunity to wish all women across the globe a happy International Women's Day. I wish all the women in my constituency a happy International Women's Day. And I hope that we continue to advocate for women. We continue to ensure that women occupy our spaces. We continue to ensure that the voices of women are heard. We continue to ensure that women are given the opportunity to unearth the hidden talents in us. You can only unearth the hidden talent in you when you are given the opportunity and the recognition. And I think that is what my honorable, the last speaker was talking about, that as women, we should support each other. And as men, you should support women to excel. Because as my colleague, Honorable Esla Usu, has been saying, that if women one day decide to withdraw our services from the bedroom to the boardroom, it will create a big vacuum. And I hope that as we celebrate women, you all join us to celebrate the success achieved by our women in business, our women in politics, our women at the managerial level, and our women across the country. Mr. Speaker, on this note, I thank you for this opportunity to also contribute to this all-important statement, and I hope that we'll continue to promote the growth of women and will not always wait till 8th March annually to celebrate women. Thank you.
Yes, let me go to Honorable Dela Sua. But honorable members, let me remind you, I'm drawing your attention to our standing orders 93. 93.5. A member may comment on a statement for a period not exceeding 5 minutes, and the comment shall not provoke debate. So, Honorable Dela and the subsequent comments should not exceed 5 minutes. It's in our standing orders. So, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to commend Honorable Hawa for the very good statement she made this morning. And on this occasion, wish all women in Ghana a happy International Women's Day, especially women in the Kwando constituency. Mr. Speaker, when God created woman, his creation was perfect. In his wisdom, God didn't create Adam and Steve. He created Adam and Eve so that the woman can complement the man and vice versa. Mr. Speaker, women in Ghana have done a lot over the years, and earlier speakers have said that there's still more to be done. I want on this occasion to commend His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for choosing a woman as his running mate. He has set an example and a precedent that women can occupy the highest office in the land. And I want to encourage the presidential candidates in the MPP to follow suit, and also
Honorable Dela, I drew your attention that the debate should not engender, the comment should not engender debate. So don't take an angle that will engender debate, please. So you may go on.
Right Honorable Speaker, I was just offering advice. Mr. Speaker, women have done extremely well in this country. Ghana has had a female Speaker of Parliament, 2 female Chief Justices. We have two female electoral commissioners. We've done extremely well in the area of women leadership, but there's still more to be done. On this day, as we celebrate women, Mr. Speaker, let's remember that there's more to be done for women in Ghana. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable. I want to get one. Yes, Honorable Member for Seriri also.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, today is a very, very important day, and I'm very proud to get up and then speak on this issue. Mr. Speaker, for those of us in Africa, the issue of women and their emancipation and indeed their progress is very, very important for our socio-economic development. Women constitute more than 50% of Africa's population, and even Ghana same. So it will be a very, very bad economic policy not to make sure that they participate in all facets of life so that they can make a contribution. That is where then we can catch up with the rest of the world. But Mr. Speaker, I believe in the maxim that between the genders, men and women, we have been created different, but we are equal. So we are different, but equal. That is why I say that in Ghana, for example, there is no shred of evidence to show that women are inferior to, men. Indeed, but for historical and social suppression culturally, women would have, made a lot of contribution to, society. Mr. Speaker, just two examples, and I'm picking my example from two disparate settings. Iran. When you take Iran, the women scientists are even more than the men. And then you take Israel, the same thing. So if women are given opportunities, they can even participate in the sciences where the conventional wisdom has been that they cannot, make much contribution. Mr. Speaker, again, we believe that women in Ghana, in Africa, for example, they have been the breadwinners of our society, especially in the small, micro, and medium-level enterprises. Ghana is number 3 in the world, but in Africa, number 1 is Botswana, and number 2, I believe, must be, I've forgotten the country, but 1, 2, 3 women entrepreneurs have been in Africa. So even given the opportunity, and today the topic or the headline topic is invest in women, but they need to scale up so that they can join those entrepreneurs in the top brackets of the economy. Mr. Speaker, before I take my seat, I want to say that men have been very, very supportive, especially Ghanaian men. And here I will take the opportunity to mention the late F.T. Sai and then Dr. K. Buzia, who even legislated women's, maternity leave. Because at that time, it was not politically right to do, even in the Western countries, that wasn't done. So from our side of the political divide, we have noticed that women need to be supported. I believe that on the other side, everybody knows that Mr. Rawlings has also made a lot of contribution to women's issues. Again, our own, just retired president, J.A. Kufo, for example, created the Women and Children's Affairs Ministry. So in conclusion, I want to say that we want our compatriots, our women, to notice that even the men, we have a consensus that we must help them, to develop. But they should also help themselves. They should take, the opportunities to accelerate their progress. And that is why we are looking forward towards the, passage of the affirmative action, so that we will make, I'm sure, and here I speak on behalf of my male compatriots, we will make very, very potent contributions so that we will help women assert themselves, and then also Ghana will then have invested in women economically, socially, and culturally for the greater progress of Ghana. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, let me take the last one, then I come to leadership. was a man, so let me come to Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me associate with almost all the comments that have been made earlier, and to also take this opportunity to congratulate all women for all the effort they are making to keep all of us safe.
Today is your day.
Mr. Speaker, for a very long period of time, we've been making lip service to the development of women. And Mr. Speaker, why am I saying so? If you take, for example, Parliament itself, the number of women, we have about 40 women as members of Parliament. If you go into the staff and you see the number of women who are really supporting this institution to run, you will not understand why there's no crèche within the vicinity. Why you do not have a basic school within the vicinity. Because, Mr. Speaker, all these that we are talking about, the things that hinders women progress most is childbirth and keeping children. And you see, as the career clock takes, one of the things that inhibits women's development is their ability to be able to keep their children safe. That is why when you go to a seat of government, even during Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, you see that there's a primary school, a basic school next to the Flagstaff House. If you go into the ministry, you see that there are those basic infrastructure for crèche and little children. If you go to the Burma camp, you see that they have that. It is to make sure that when the woman is working, she has a support system that helps her to feel safe and her children feel safe. We are not doing that. And when it comes to International Women's Day, all the things that we keep talking about, we are talking about the rooftop. But Mr. Speaker, we need to get the basics right, because once they are able to go through the difficulties of their early life, they will be able to stabilize themselves and be able to carry on. Mr. Speaker, one of the other things that we need to pay attention is, I'm happy the Minister of Education is here. When we are building schools infrastructure, very few of them go with toilet facilities. And we all know the talent these girls child. That's why my colleague Honorable Ajaladi was saying, in the very early primary stage, you see that their numbers are high. As they begin to grow and get into puberty, then their numbers are reducing. Why? Because during the time of the month, the challenge the girl child has, and with a school facility that doesn't have a toilet facility or a restroom, definitely when that time comes, it's better she doesn't go to school. With a greater respect, girls are not like boys who can just stand and face a wall and ease themselves. Girls need to be supported, and I hope that the Minister of Education will make it as part of its policy that we won't build a classroom block without a corresponding rest houses or restrooms. Mr. Speaker, even in some of our secondary schools, when you go, you see that some of the major challenge the girls have is where to ease themselves. Mr. Speaker, if you go to all public spaces, one thing that you will not lack in any public space where there's a washroom or a toilet facility is toilet roll. We need to add as a country's policy that we will be putting menstrual pad as part of the facility that you have in those facilities for the women. Because you see, sometimes it looks so easy and simple for those of us who are in the urban centers and in the well-to-do environment. But for the rural girl and very poor girls in urban poor communities, just simple pad can let her stay away from school. And when we begin to implement some of these decisions, it is what is going to pep them up and make them comfortable to be able to grow, to get to a state where they are able to really fight for themselves. Most of the things that are happening, especially in the political space, is like a battle. And I always congratulate the women in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, 40 of them. If you check, almost every single one of them had to fight a male to come to this house, meaning that they are capable. What they need is a support system and the environment to be able to carry on. I want to take this opportunity once again to congratulate our sisters who are in the chamber. 40 of them, you are doing wonderful. it is our prayer that in the next parliament we even have more of you. Obviously, this thinking that can we dedicate some constituencies, you know it will be a real challenge, because who is going to do that? Unless we adopt what Uganda has done with the affirmative action, they created additional constituencies where they make it as a learning place. So, for example, in every region, there's maybe some 5 constituencies that are dedicated for women. That is not constituency specific. So when you use that to enter, then now you are able to target a specific constituency to go and fight and take a seat. So maybe in the future, when we are trying of expanding the number of members of parliament, this will be the way we should be thinking, so that we can give avenues to our sisters who are timid or afraid to venture, to have a window to be able to come in, so that they'll be able to now target traditional conferences and fight for it. With this, I wish them well in this year's celebration, and I hope that our women will continue to make all of us proud. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, let me come to leadership. Honorable Doyo, for a special reason, let me allow Honorable Gizera, a member for Ewutu Senior West, to just comment 2 minutes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate this gesture. Thank you very much to my senior colleague, Honorable Mavis Howard Kumson, MP for Ewutu Senior East, which I share half of our constituency name and a boundary. Mr. Speaker, this year's theme of Invest in Women Accelerating Progress, just imagine if we were able to invest in women in healthcare. There will be better health for all in all our families, across the country, across nations, and across the world. Mr. Speaker, just imagine if we were able to invest in women in education. Imagine the number of children, teenagers, youth who will be educated, or at least in different forms of education, whether formal or informal, vocational or otherwise. Just imagine the number of people who would have gotten the education within the right circumstances. Mr. Speaker, if we invest in economic activities for women, imagine the level of poverty that would be reduced, such that there will be improvement in people's economic activities and in their lives, in their livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, imagine if we were to invest in women in agriculture. There will be food security, and that I'm sure all of us can attest to that. Imagine if we were to invest in women in politics, from the local level all the way up to the presidential seats. Imagine what the country would be and how stable we believe that, imagine how stable, because women have their sixth sense and they are able to assimilate to assimilate properly and also contribute their quota and suggestions. Imagine if we were to invest in women in communities, and imagine if we were to invest in women in ownership and land, having land and properties. Also investing in women in energy conservation, social stability, family stability, gender responsive investments. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot to say about women working in Ghana. They're hardworking, resilient, caring, responsible. I believe that even in this house, the 40 of us, we have a lot to talk about. Yes, we fight and we are as capable as the men that are in this house, and we all represent strong constituencies. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. I add my voice to congratulate every single Ghanaian woman on this International Day. Every day must be a Women's Day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Deputy Minister, I want to say something.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to commend and make up the statement, Honorable Howard Kumsin, for the very important statement made on the day that we are celebrating women across the world, and in particular women in this chamber and in this country. We celebrate the contribution of women in this country and highlight the critical role they play in society. Mr. Speaker, in this country, we all believe that the best socio-economic empowerment that one can give to a female is education. And that corroborates the point that Koji Agri made, that you educate a man, you educate an individual.
But when you educate a woman, you educate the whole society. A lot needs to be done in empowering women, but we must also acknowledge that a lot has to be celebrated along the path of things we have done in giving opportunities to women. An era has come and gone when in our various schools, when you entered, for every 100 males that you found, you would only see 60 girls. But today, from pre-primary to primary to JHS and SHS, wherever you find 100 boys, you are likely to find 100 females. We have attained a gender parity of 1. But 2 regions that even stand out are Upper East region and Upper West region, where when you visit high schools in Upper East and Upper West regions, there are more females than there are males. These are unique feats in championing women empowerment. Now, moving forward, we have to take a look at where males are dominated and systemically find means of bringing to the fore women into engineering, into science. And that is why we commend efforts of the establishment of a girls' STEM school, Bosomchi Girls' STEM School, where the best and brightest of our girls are given that pathway. So when we go on this tangent as a society, a time will come, it will not be difficult at all to find women dominating in male-dominated areas and to find women at the table of influence and at the table where meaningful contribution is made to our society. I thank you.
Thank you very much. So, leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to add my voice to the statement made by our caretaker minister.
Leader, you spend a lot of time, so just...
Mr. Speaker, today is International Women's Day, and I'm on my feet to congratulate all women nationwide. Mr. Speaker, we can't speak of the day and cannot remember women who fought for this nation. Elizabeth Kujo was part of the men who fought for this nation, but his name was missing in action. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to remember some of our late Member of Parliament, Madam Hawa Yakubu, Elizabeth and Amere Tebo, and the rest. Mr. Speaker, it is a day that women need to be celebrated, and it is a day to speak about our achievements. Mr. Speaker, if you look at our achievements as women in this House, it was very, very marvelous, and it is very, very encouraging. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we chalked another milestone as a woman was announced as the vice presidential candidate for the NDC. Mr. Speaker, it's an achievement and we need to speak on it. And I'm challenging all the rest of the party to do same, because women, we are capable and we can do it. Mr. Speaker, whether you like it or not, or whether they like it or not, women, man and a woman paired together is very, very good for the nation. And that pair is going to happen live. This time no woman is going to fight his or a fellow woman. So if you don't want your women to come and join us, then you should also choose a woman. Otherwise, they will all come and join us to rally behind a woman. We will not be our own enemies again. This time we are going to fight for ourselves. Mr. Speaker, if we have a woman in the executive, we will struggle here fighting over common part. Common part for girls. When we hear, yeah, mamio dende, yeah, mamio dende, there is something in the back. When you see the girls or the children running and say, yeah, mamio dende, there is something, if not glikaplo, is biscuit in the bag. If you see the children running, that they pick a file from their daddy and go and put it in the room. But when they pick the bag from their mother, if you don't see biscuits, you will see agriculture. If you don't see agriculture, you will see bread or you will see interior. Mr. Speaker, it is time for women. It is time for women. We are celebrating women. We are happy a woman has been chosen.
Yes.
We are so happy. Let us all rally. I don't sit down because you deserve to be vice president. Let them choose you. Sit down and let's talk for them to choose you. We said women.
Double leader, hold on.
Women.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague.
You are coming under what order?
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague on the other side made mention of interior. So I'm asking that interior to which she should translate it so that table office can interpret that. So I'm standing on order 112. What is interior on our record?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. She will be in the best position to explain interior. Let us appreciate our own and our language. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't learn to be our own. A woman is coming, jubilate. Let us rally behind a woman. And the whole Ghana is going to see a big change. Mr. Speaker, it is not a joke. A woman of substance, humility. When we are looking for respect and you don't find it, go to Nana Opokwajima. It's there. Let us celebrate a woman's achievement. Yesterday, we achieved it. It's the best gift they gave to us on International Women's Day. And we thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to set the record. Follow the record. And why you deserve to be there. You deserve to be done. All of them, they deserve the post. Now you are going to follow who no road. So Mahama no road.
Women no road.
We are shown the road.
Women no road.
And the women are going to climb.
Yes.
Honorable
We are happy.
Honorable member.
Women are happy.
Women no road.
We are going to vote massively for the NDC. All women rally behind us. So that the party should learn how
Thank
to
you.
use
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mine is an observation. And the parliamentary service and whoever is responsible for the IT systems must take note. I don't know if it is calculated. But when you rise on this side and you are speaking, for some strange reasons, the volume is inaudible. When Honorable Frida Prempe was speaking, nobody could hear her. When the Deputy Minister Education was speaking, for some strange reasons, when people on this side are talking, you cannot hear them in the speakers. But when my colleagues on the other side, when they start talking, for some strange reasons, the speakers are loud and clear and everybody can hear them. I don't know if it is, I don't know what is cooking in the back room, but, and it's every day. So we need to pay attention to what is happening in the engine room when people on this side have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an observation I personally have also observed. In fact, when Honorable Frida Prempe was speaking, I nearly asked him to speak to the mic because it was not forthcoming. I don't know whether it is the member herself who were not speaking to the mic. Your observation has been taken in good faith. We will look at it. So on that note, we will bring statement to a close. And I thank the maker of the statement, Honorable Minister, now in charge of children and social welfare, and all the contributors. I thank you so much for what you've done. Honorable members, so all the ladies here and in the entire country, we wish you happy International Women's Day. Before we go to the public business, kindly indulge me to acknowledge in the public gallery our children who have made it to the chamber to witness what goes on here. The first school is Mother's Joy International School. Mother's Joy International School. The school is being led by Mr. Kingsley Edujemfi, who is a supervisor, and the school is located at Amasamai constituency. Amasamai constituency. So the honorable member for Amasamai is here. The second school is Nisa International School. Nisa International School. The school is being led by Azia Albert, and he is the headmaster of the school, and the school is located in the Medina constituency. Medina constituency. The member of parliament is not around, so you are also welcome. The third school is the Oyster Academy. Oyster Academy. And the school is being led by Mr. Adman Patrick, who is also a supervisor, and the school is located in the Tema West constituency. Tema West constituency. And the last school is Silos International School. Silos International School. And the school is being led by Boahin Beatrice. And he is the coordinator, and the school is located in the Pram. So all the students and people who have found their way in the chamber, we welcome you. I hope you are monitoring what is going on. That one should urge you on to study hard so that tomorrow you may also take over when we are no more there. Thank you very much. So, leadership, may I come to you?
If Mr. Speaker will be pleased, may we proceed to item 17, motion. That's on page 10 of today's order paper.
Item.
Speaker, it's your leave I seek.
Item.
Mr. Speaker, 17, motion.
Yes.
Yeah, so, Mr. Speaker, I just, for the record, want to say that I'm praying for leave. Under normal circumstances, we have to do the business statement. But there are some technical issues that I'm seeing to it with the table office. So, in order not to delay, I would want to pray for leave so we vary the order of business and proceed to take item 17, which is a motion on page 10 of today's order paper.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the majority that is seeking your leave and that of the House to vary the order of business for us to go to motion 17 instead of motion number 6. Item number 6, which is the business statement for the week. Mr. Speaker, we were all at the business committee yesterday. There is no any technical challenge on the business statement. Mr. Speaker, we are assisting you to man the House to get members are around We were supposed to sit at 10. You were there. The majority leader begged that we should sit at 11:30. We waited. At 11:30, he came to beg that we should sit at 12:30. We waited. Now members have come. We are going on business. Then you are saying that we should vary the order of business and leave the business statement. The Speaker, today is Friday. Today is Friday. The leaders on both sides are supposed to wrap up the message to thank His Excellency, the President, on the state of the nation today. So, Mr. Speaker, let's go methodically. Mr. Speaker, critically, Mr. Speaker, there are issues and a very terrible place that is where he's trying to go. If we want to assist you to man the house together, Mr. Speaker, let's tread with caution. Let's do the business statement. After that, let's conclude with a message on the state of the nation. After that, then we can come to the items he's talking of. Mr. Speaker, we are on private business, and this private business, what is the urgency of barring the order of business? Mr. Speaker, that league, we strongly disagree with the leave of the House to vary the order of business. Mr. Speaker, we strongly oppose, and if we want, we can proceed on that tangent.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, if I say, for the record, that the table office has advised me on certain matters on the business statement, which they want to resolve for me to sign another statement. I'm saying so in good faith. And I would want to plead with my colleague, the Deputy Minority Whip. Business statement is an easy thing to do, but they've just advised me that what I signed, which has been circulated, they need to look at it again because some questions that were arranged for next week, they want to do some few amendments. So that is the advice. Mr. Speaker, once they go to the print, we can't sit here idle. It is upon that I pray that we vary the order of business and take the motion. So, Mr. Speaker, may we proceed to take item 70, which is motion. And I pray for my brother's cooperation in this respect. Please.
I'm saying that
the Speaker,
ask for this
clearly,
fine, but the business
this House, in leadership when there are controversial issues, we know how to tread with caution. There are harmless issues for us to proceed on. If the business statement is not ready, Mr. Speaker, yesterday was the day that the leadership was supposed to conclude on the message on the state of the nation. It is only the two leaders who are going to conclude. The minority leader is ready with his submission here. If the majority leader is ready, let the two leaders conclude. Then we close the docket on that. Then we can come to the matter of where the votes are going to be. Because the two sides have already shown their position on where we are going to go. So, Mr. Speaker, we cannot defer this, what we deferred yesterday to today, that today we are going to do these loans businesses. Then the leaders are not going to be concluding today. The leader on the minority is ready. And this is his message to thank his right up to thank His Excellency the President. We are ready to thank him. If the majority leader is ready, let us go with that. When we finish with that, we can come with other businesses. That's what we want to do.
Honourable members, when it comes to the varying of order, I think we have to be in addendum. It's like well. So, honourable members, honourable minority, please, we will still take the business statement for next week. So, if the majority leader is asking us, it's the same thing, commutative. We will do this. We'll come back to that. So let's do the.
Speaker, item 17, motion with respect.
Let's do the item 17.
Mr. Speaker, this morning we had an understanding that we were going to conclude on the message on the State of the Nation address by His Excellency the President. Mr. Speaker, later on we were told that that will be deferred to Monday. I have no objection, Mr. Speaker, but subsequently, our understanding is that we will be taking the what do you call it? Not the state of the nation, the business statement, and adopt it before we move on to the business. Mr. Speaker, I was at the pre-sitting meeting. We did not discuss and agreed that we are going to vary the order of business. And then, Mr. Speaker, go straight to the motions on the loans that this government wants to take. Mr. Speaker, this is a surprise to us. This is indeed a surprise to us because that is not what we agreed at the pre-sitting meeting. And so our position is that you will need the leave of the House. You will need the leave of the House before we agree to vary the order of the business. Mr. Speaker, our side cannot grant that leave. We think that the business statement for today needs to be read, discussed, and adopted before we move on to the other business. Mr. Speaker, that is our position.
Mr. Speaker, the business statement has been signed by me. In fact, it's ready. The table of this advised that some of the members on the minority side have their questions that they want to add because we gave assurance to them. So it's to the benefit. No, wait. Mr. Speaker, it is for their benefit because some members on the minority side have some questions pending. And they said they want to include these because these have been pending for far too long. So, Mr. Speaker, all I'm saying is that once we get them to print, let us start the item 17. Mr. Speaker, it's just a procedural motion. Once we are at it, we can. Mr. Speaker, we can come back and do the
Honourable members.
I've made an application to
Honourable members.
Please.
The prayer is to. It was directed to me. I think, like I said, it's commutative. We can take this one and later on take the business statement. It's the same. So I don't see any big deal. So, Honourable Minority Leader, please indulge me to take motion 17. So, Leader, your leave granted.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, with that leave granted, I humbly pray for leave for the Vice Chair of the committee to proceed to take the motion. The Chair is unavoidably absent. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honourable Ato, let's move on.
Mr. Speaker, the motion before us is a motion that the Committee on Finance sat on, and there is a majority decision on the motion. Mr. Speaker, all what I'm saying is that it's a matter that is going to be seriously debated, and where possible, it will go into voting. Mr. Speaker, our position is that. And however, Mr. Speaker, in a matters of this magnitude, it is only right that we follow the right procedure. Mr. Speaker, our position is that when the minister when the majority leader raised the issue seeking the leave of the House, it is not the leave of the Speaker. This is the leave of the House. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that if he's seeking the leave of the House to vary the order of business, Mr. Speaker, it is only right that you ask us to agree to it. To ask us to agree to it. Mr. Speaker, we do not agree to it. He has the business statement. He has the business statement. Mr. Speaker, he should come and present the business statement. He should come and present the business statement. He should ignore the questions others are asking. Mr. Speaker, we have not asked for his support on this. Mr. Speaker, the business statement has been agreed on. Let him come and present it. He should come and present the business statement for us to adopt it. Mr. Speaker, we will not accept this. The business statement must be presented to us for all of us to debate it and adopt before we move on to the next motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minority Leader. The leave or the application was made to me. Normally, in the chamber, when application is made, it's made to the Speaker. So,
under 67(2).
So,
Mr.
Honourable.
Speaker, under 67(2).
Well.
You are 45 by 67(2).
Well. So, honorable minority leader, please, like I'm saying, it's part of today's business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to...
So, honorable Patrick Bama, you wouldn't even allow me to finish. Very well. Honorable member for Okaikwe Central and vice chairman of the committee,
Speaker,
you may now move the motion.
I beg to move that motion number 17 on today's order paper be moved. I so move.
Honorable members, the motion has been moved. Yes, any seconder?
Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, item 17 is procedural motion. So I'll put the question, and the question is as many as are in favor of the motion listed 17 today's order paper, say aye. All those against say no. No. Honorable members, the ayes have it.
Committee on the concessionary financing agreement between the government of Ghana and the International Development Association for an amount of $300 million United States dollars to finance the first resilient recovery development financing policy. Mr. Speaker, I ask the Answer Department to capture the entire report as having been read and ask this House to humbly support government in its kind request and support. I beg to move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, the motion listed 18 has been moved by the vice chairman. Any seconder? Yes. Let me go to honorable member for Padaso.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the motion. And in doing so, second the motion. And in doing so, I want to make the point that this loan facility is supposed to support our budget, and it's supposed to help us to generate revenue to strengthen the economy. And the majority supported this agreement, so it is our prayer that this agreement is supported by the House. Thank you.
Honourable members, the motion has been moved and it has been seconded. It is now before the House for consideration. Yes. Honourable members, I repeat, the motion has been moved, it has been seconded. Is it before the House for consideration? Yes. If there's no consideration, I'll put the question. All those in favor? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, first, I rise to vehemently oppose the motion for this House to approve a loan of $300 million US. Mr. Speaker, I do so with good heart. I do so in the interest of our country. Mr. Speaker, our country is sinking in debt. Our country is being mismanaged in the way debt is being accumulated. Mr. Speaker, we cannot, in good conscience, Mr. Speaker, accept this country to be round aground in this manner. Mr. Speaker, why am I saying so? Mr. Speaker, why am I saying so? Mr. Speaker, I say so because this same MPP government is calling on us, Mr. Speaker, to approve two loans today. One, $150 million, another $300 million US. The two put together, Mr. Speaker, is $450 million US. Mr. Speaker, at the same time,
tax exemptions before the finance committee is amounted to $449 million. So, Speaker, we do not need to borrow. We do not need to borrow. Because the tax exemptions alone, if we manage it well, so Speaker, if we manage the tax exemptions well, so Speaker, that 450 million, that 450 million that we are going to the World Bank to borrow, so Speaker, we can get it locally. So Speaker, in good conscience, our position is that if the government wants, they should come and withdraw these tax exemptions. They should come and withdraw these tax exemptions. And if they withdraw these tax exemptions, in good conscience, we will see that this government has taken steps, positive steps, to recover the economy that they've run aground. So, Speaker, I urge the new minister responsible for finance that this is your moment to make your name. This is your moment to make your name by signaling to the international community and to Ghanaians that you care. By signaling to all of us that you will be a different finance minister. By withdrawing the tax exemptions before us. The Speaker, I say this passionately. The Speaker, there's only one Ghana. There is only one Ghana. All of us must care about this country. But the way this is being managed, the Speaker, this is indeed unpatriotic. This is unpatriotic and it should not be allowed to stand. The Speaker, why are we giving $449 million to people that they have already, the things that they claim they want the $49 million, the Speaker, tax exemption for, they've already cleared it. So Speaker, I have the list. I have the list of companies, totaling 45 companies, that this House, our minister responsible for finance, representing this government, has submitted to the finance committee, for finance committee, the Speaker, to exempt them in taxes. The Speaker, our position is simple. In good conscience, in the interest of our country, as patriotic as I am, I cannot support this loan. The Speaker, I cannot support this loan unless, Mr. Speaker, this tax exemption is withdrawn. The Speaker, if they withdraw these tax exemptions, all of us, seeing that this government has changed course, will support this loan. The Speaker, apart from that, let everybody know, let it be recorded here, that the NDC minority today stood with the people of Ghana. And we've shown to the people of Ghana that if you are not patriotic, we are patriotic and we care about our country. The Speaker, I'm scandalized. I'm scandalized. I am disappointed, the Speaker. Why am I saying so? I say so because, the Speaker, in difficult times, when your country is in crisis, when your country is going down, you take steps to recover it. But, Mr. Speaker, our colleagues, this government is behaving as if we are in normal times. Mr. Speaker, we are not in normal times. We are not in normal times. The economy is going down by the day. Let that notice be made clear to you. That, Mr. Speaker, we are not in normal times. The only time that, Mr. Speaker, we can fix this is by signaling to the international community and even to ourselves that this government has changed course. But unfortunately, from what we have seen, it's more of the same. It's more of the same. So, Minister, I want to urge you, if you want us, Minister of Finance, if you want us to support this, I urge you to seize this moment, and withdraw these tax exemptions. And if you withdraw these tax exemptions, I will support you. I will support you to make sure you get this loan. But until you withdraw this tax exemption, the NDC members of Parliament will never support this loan because, Mr. Speaker, you have shown that you are being wasteful. Mr. Speaker, that is our position. That is our position. Because $449 million in tax exemption, Mr. Speaker, is a bit too much. And so, Mr. Speaker, in doing so, we oppose this vehemently. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Let me call member for Asin Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute. I disagree with the minority leader. First, the substantive matter here those of us sitting here do not have the privilege of the tax exemptions that he's talking about. 2, we want a reason for the tax exemption. If, with all due respect, screaming for the whole world to know that the minister has submitted 449 million tax exemption for 45 companies, what is the benefit of the tax exemption for the companies, the 45 companies? We want to know. So, with all due respect, the way the minority leader is presenting the case, I disagree with him. Because yesterday, for instance, I happened to be at this Santio Oil. And talking to him, I asked him the cost of the investment. And the cost of the investment is about $2 billion. For 5 million tons of finished products. He is producing 2 million tons, which is 40%. And he wants to expand it, the second phase, to cover the 5 million tons import of oil. So if such a company comes to ask for exemption, and you scream that the finance minister has submitted 45 companies, 449 million, you see, I am not privy to the companies. I'm not privy to the companies. But give the finance minister benefit of the doubt. Let him present these figures and the number of companies that have applied. We can deduce from the information and know that if it is beneficial to the country or not. But if you come out and say 449 million is a condition for the loan of 300 million, then, Mr. Speaker, I think our minority leader should come again and just accept this. Yeah, you need to give us the 449, the reasons and the companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Honorable Member for Swansea.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going through the documentation, Mr. Speaker, knowing the flood that normally happens in Accra, naturally one should be very supportive of any attempt to rescue the capital city of flooding and all its challenges. But Mr. Speaker, just to indirectly respond to my colleague, Honorable Kennedy Rapon, he knows that where people mean business, what they do is they give these companies tax credit, so that when you are going to pay your tax, it is deductible. They don't give you the money upfront as tax waivers, because you know, having been a member of parliament for over 2 decades, you know the abusive nature of tax exemptions. Because people come to tell you, these are the reasons why we need tax exemptions. When it comes to implementation, they do the other way. They do other things. So you see, if you have followed the tax waivers, when you demand details and you see some of the items that are listed for the tax exemptions, you wonder as members of parliament whether we are really doing our oversight very well. That is why, because of those challenges, that is why you see almost every company is running to this house for a tax waiver, because they know we are not doing proper scrutiny. Not only us, but even the Ministry of Finance itself. It has become a studio business for people in government to simply bring tax waivers, hoping that once it goes through, it becomes business for others. We are saying that simply. Yes, we agree with you. Every in the US, in China, all those things, they do those things to entice companies to invest. But what they do is that they turn it as tax credit. So it becomes a tax credit in your account. So when the year comes and you're going to pay your tax, then it is then deducted. Because you have to pay the tax, you want to justify and show evidence that these are truly deductibles. But they're not the way that we do as upfront. Mr. Speaker, it will be very difficult for us as a country and parliamentarians who are supposed to protect the press and play oversight to sit down and we are dashing one group about $449 million US. And then on another breath, we are running here to look for another $450 million as loans, where we will have to pay with our toil and sweat. It doesn't make sense anywhere. It doesn't make sense anywhere that you dash this money and then you are also seeking loan to do about the same thing. But I'm sure these $449 million US that are here as tax waivers, if they were turned into tax credit, and I'm happy the new Minister of Finance is listening, if they are turned into tax waivers, tax credit, I can bet you when it comes to claiming, you will not get up to 200 million of it being claimed because of the vigorous nature of tax, tax credit and its retiring. But the way it is, Mr. Minister, it has become a blank check that we are giving many of these companies, and it is not right because you and I sit here as members of Parliament. You tax us at 25%. Check our salary. Every one of us go to the account and pick your salary slip. You will see that you are taxed at 25% because you are put into the high bracket. Companies who are struggling within our own country, they are paying corporate tax of over 20%. You have all manner of persons within this country working day and night, and they are paying taxes. Yet we have these foreign companies that are coming, and all they do is to run here with tax waivers. Mr. Speaker, like I said, this loan, technically, looking at what the loan is meant for, would naturally should not attract the kind of challenges that is facing. But because of the numerous tax waivers that we have on our books, it doesn't make rational sense for us to be approving this when we have all that on our books. It is on this that I want to plead with the leadership of majority, together with the Minister of Finance. Simply withdraw the tax waivers and let's pave way for this unanimous approval of this. Because, Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to say this. On any day, we could have this argument and shout and scream, but not today. Today is not such a day for us to be doing this. Why? A day after the death of our colleague, we are standing here and we are screaming at each other, and the Lord is coming from the very ministry that our colleague has lost his life. How sensitive are we to each other? Yet we are here screaming at each other and talking about this law. So simply, Minister of Finance, withdraw those tax waivers so that we can unanimously as a group approve this, so that you can take your time and look at all the tax waivers, turn them into tax credit and bring them back. That one becomes neater. But now you are saying that we should give you this and then later you come and do the withdrawal. Where do you hear that? So simply withdraw the tax waivers and then we unanimously support you to get this loan. Then you take your time and turn all those. No, we do. They are on the other paper. They are here. They are on the other paper. So you should simply withdraw them. When he withdraws them, then we can unanimously approve this. When we do, then it will help us to be able to do this in unison and as a family without acrimony. But as it stands now, I don't think it makes sense for us to be supporting this. And I hope I can see my Honorable Stephen Amua screaming from the back. Well, I know the day will come when you are on this side. I will remind you. Remember, those of us who have sat on both sides, when you are screaming from the back, we will look at you. Because the day will come when you are here, you start screaming, and I will remind you of all you guys. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, my hope is that the Ministry of Finance and the leadership should be able to build some consensus and get us doing this thing in unison. Because very soon the flood will start in Accra, and we don't want the kind of destruction that we all see. But as it stands now, simply withdraw the waivers and let us approve this. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak.
Let me go to Etiwa East.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the report and urge members to approve the concessional financing agreement between the Government of Ghana and the International Development Association for an amount of 300 million to be used as budget support for the 2024 budget. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I'd like to state it clearly that the debate is not about tax waivers. The debate is about a report that is before us. But I want to use this opportunity to just explain to members the issue of the tax waivers. It has come about because of the 1D, 1F policy that the government brought to this house. So all the tax waivers before the Finance Committee are local companies. Just to set the tone right, Mr. Speaker, they are local companies. And I will mention a few of them for us to know that they are local companies that we want to support, local companies that we want to solidify, so that they can afford to create more jobs and also improve the economy. Mr. Speaker, one, I want to mention B5 Plus. This has been brought to the Finance Committee, which is a Ghanaian company. There's also Ferro Fabric Limited, which is a Ghanaian company. Mr. Speaker, there's Mario Forestry Limited, which is a Ghanaian company. There's Everpure Limited, which is a Ghanaian company. So if you are telling us today that what can we do to improve the economy, and government is saying through the 1D, 1F, these are what I want, these are some of the things I want to do to make sure these companies stand the test of time and be able to work hard to employ more people and also to create the right and conducive environment for all of us. We say withdraw this. This is not what is in contention today, Mr. Speaker. We are talking about a 300 million IDA facility. Again, Mr. Speaker, let me just mention a few. We all know Standard Ghana Limited. We came here just a few months ago to give them some waivers to enable them produce sanitary towels without taxes. And so my people here, I'm really surprised at the way they are behaving, because they are the same people who told government take off or waive off taxes on parts. And today, a part manufacturing company is being given a tax waiver, and you say you have a problem with that. I mean, we have to be straight, we have to be direct and tell the Ghanaians the truth, Mr. Speaker. So these tax waivers are actually for local manufacturing companies. Mr. Speaker, we were here. I was in this house when my colleagues on the other side did not even bother to bring waivers for Jata Cement, did not even bother to bring waivers for Tank Palace, yet they went ahead and gave them waivers because we all felt they were Ghanaian companies under the GIPC Act. We all felt they were Ghanaian companies, which, if they should prosper, would help all of us. And so here we are, now we've brought all these things to Parliament. We want to introduce transparency and accountability. And they said they have a problem. And because of that, they are not going to pass, we are not going to pass support that we said we're going to use for the 2024 budget. Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I ask my friends here to change their positions. Before, Mr. Speaker, I conclude, I just want us to go to page 6, item 7.1, line 2. It's supposed to be 2024 and not 2014. So amend the report as such. And then when you come to 7.2, it is supposed to be macro and not micro. So please amend the report as such. Mr. Speaker, in total, we are looking at 900 million between 2023 to 2025. And this is the first tranche. And we urge our members on the other side to support us to push through this and help us implement the same budget that we will be taking monies from to help the flood victims, the same budget that we will be taking monies from to build infrastructure projects in our various constituencies. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I'd like to thank you and urge my members on the other side to do the needful. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I will take one, then I come to leadership. Honourable Eric Opoku. Honourable Eric Opoku.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my deputy leader is on his feet.
Allow the leader to speak. Eric, allow the leader.
Honourable members. Honourable.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Respectfully, right, Honourable Speaker.
If you want time to talk,
right,
why do you have to stand up and...
Respectfully, let's agree on how many people
on this side and this side will speak. This is a very important matter that we need members to be heard on this matter. So let's agree. I am suggesting we have at least 5 more people on this side to speak on this matter. 5 more people on this side to speak.
5 more. Already 3 people are speaking from your side.
So then let's agree on it.
3. So I'll take 2 and conclude.
It's a compromise on 3.
Honorable Eric Opoku, please.
3 here. Now, Speaker, respectfully, we are going to compromise on your request. We'll take 3.
Honorable members, when we started this, that's what your leadership told me, 5-5. So why are you now saying we should add another 5? So after Eric Opoku, I'll take 2, I'll put the question. Honorable Eric Opoku.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on page 6 of the report, Chairman of the committee, if you are listening, Chairman of the committee, please listen. Page 6 of the report, paragraph 1, importance of the facility. Importance of the facility. Mr. Speaker, I read, the committee noted that the 300 million facility is not dedicated to any specific project in the 2024 budget. I think they made it 2014. Please. They made it 2014. If you can correct it, it should be 2024. That it is not dedicated to any specific project in the 2024 budget. And
honorable members, please, let's allow him. I'll give you the opportunity to.
And the Deputy Minister of Finance explained that the facility is part of general budget support and will be applied to finance critical aspects of the 2024 budget. Mr. Speaker, every pesewa in the budget is assigned to an agency of government for a specific project. Fantastic. And so if you are taking a loan and then you want this house to approve the loan, the house must know exactly what the money is being used for. So we can monitor. You can come and say that we want to support the budget, so approve $300 million for us to go, and then we approve it. We need to know exactly what this money is going to be used for. Because when you take the budget, every pesewa in the budget is assigned to a specific purpose. So what exactly are you going to use this $300 million for? And this simple question you cannot answer. You cannot answer, Mr. Speaker. This is an election year. It is an election year. And the temptation to divert state resources into political campaign is very high. So in order to ensure prudence, judicious utilization of the resources, we are only asking them to provide us the details.
Honorable Eric. Yes, honorable.
The honorable member on his feet, Eric Opoku, is a senior colleague in this house. But for him to get up for an IDA facility to describe it as election year, Mr. Speaker, it is profound. The only group in this country who has misused funds in election year for research purposes is the people on the minority side. People on the minority side. When Roger Metululu, as Deputy Minister for Health, diverted money for building of hospitals in Ashanti region for research purposes. The fact that you did it doesn't mean we will do it. This is a different government and a different party. We don't intend to turn the 300 into election funds. We don't intend to turn this 300 million into election funds. It's not like that. You have that record and keep it to yourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, allow
the energy minister, senior member of this house, knows what to do.
Honorable,
if you are standing up,
Honorable Amakofiboa, I haven't called you. You will get opportunity. You will let.
I'm just trying to make sure he follows the rules.
You are a leader. You will get opportunity. Let's allow.
He's completely out of order.
Yes, Honorable Eric.
Mr. Speaker, I think we are saying the same thing. The simple question we are posing is that the committee, which includes members on the other side, in their report signed by the chairman of the committee, is saying that this money is not dedicated to any specific project in the budget. That is the statement in the report. So how then do you come to this house to say that, look, I am borrowing $3 million to support general budget, so approve? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Speaker? So we want them to provide us the details as to how they are going to utilize the $300 million. Now, Mr. Speaker, another important point which has to do with the waivers. This is captured on page 7 under point number 8.0. They express concerns that put together these tax exemptions will amount to some 12.5 billion Ghana cedis. Tax exemptions will amount to some 12.5 billion Ghana cedis, which outstrips the 11 billion Ghana cedis that the government seeks to mobilize from new taxes introduced in the 2024 budget. Mr. Speaker, this report is telling us that when you look at the 2024 budget and then you look at all the new taxes that were introduced in the budget, the new taxes are supposed to rake in revenue amounting to 11 billion Ghana cedis. But we are granting tax waivers amounting to 12.5 billion Ghana cedis. And so, Mr. Speaker, there is a need for us to relook at the tax waivers they are talking about. If within 1 year, we are asking the Ghanaian people to pay taxes, new taxes, amounting to 11 billion, and we are giving away 12.5 billion as tax waivers, Mr. Speaker, it does not make sense. Something is wrong somewhere. And that is why we are saying that we should investigate that. But Mr. Speaker, more importantly, why should borrowing $300 million become an issue in Parliament? Why do we have to, debate, have this heated argument over this small amount of money? Mr. Speaker, it is because of what has happened to this country. In 2016, 7 January 2017, when the NDC was handing over power to the MPP, the total debt stock of our nation was 122 billion. 122 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, they said it was too huge for Ghanaians at the time. And if you recall, in the State of the Nation address 2017 by Mr. President Nana Akufo-Addo, he lambasted the NDC government for leaving that stock for this nation. Mr. Speaker, then they started borrowing. They will bring a law here, will speak against it, they will defend it like they are doing today, use their numbers to pass it. Eventually, Ghana's debt stock reached unsustainable levels, and Ghana became a laughing stock in the international market, to the extent that because of our huge debt, we have implemented debt exchange programs. Mr. Speaker, we have filed for insolvency. We are broke. Ghana is broke, and today we are borrowing again. We are borrowing 300 million, and we are saying that without the 300 million, we cannot survive. In 2021-2022, they borrowed 77 billion from Bank of Ghana, an equivalent of $8 billion. $8 billion in 2 years. Nothing happened to the economy. Nothing happened to the economy. No change. We are still suffering. And now you brought e-levy here. Oh, with e-levy, the whole nation will change. Let's pass e-levy. We'll fix all our roads. We'll buy you fertilizer. We'll give you water, electricity, everything. At the end of the day, nothing happened.
And today you are here defending 300 million.
Honorable Eric,
as the panacea to
thank
our
you.
problems. Look at what you have done to the
Thank
nation.
you very much,
The
Honorable
damage
Eric.
you have done to our economy. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of the upcoming generation, we must put an end to the borrowing.
Thank you.
You borrow
Thank
too
you.
much.
Thank you, Honorable. So I will take one from Honorable Katie Amon. Then I'll take another one. Then we could. Please. Yes, Honorable Katie Amon. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, Finance Ministry, if you have anything, just note it. I will invite the Finance Minister if he has anything to just address.
Mr. Speaker, I start by commenting on the point made by the Honourable Member from Aswase when he said that he doesn't understand why there is so much noise in the House. Speaker, I was scandalized myself when the minority speaker leader rose to speak to this matter, and the Speaker, it was like insanity was about to break up in the hall. Speaker, this is a matter of a very polite request. We accept that we are all Ghanaians. We accept that we are all patriots. Speaker, it seems to me that if this matter wasn't that important, the House would not be arguing it out today on a day as sad as it is today. So for the matter, Mr. Speaker, to have been brought up and discussed, for me, signifies the importance of it. That is why I would have thought that colleagues would calmly listen to the argument, colleagues would calmly advance their own arguments, and then in the end, Mr. Speaker, we make sense of it. I do not understand why the minority leader started to raise the decibel level, and in the process there's so much confusion here. Let's calm down, let's discuss this matter. In the end, if we have to vote, Mr. Speaker, we will vote. If we don't have to vote, there will be a way out of, Mr. Speaker, this quagmire. Mr. Speaker, I am speaking about this matter because essentially it has become a condition on which my interest is become a condition on which the minority says they would only support the motion. Mr. Speaker, and it's on the matter of tax exemptions. Mr. Speaker, if my colleagues and the honourable and a comrade man, if they will keep quiet, Mr. Speaker, we would make sense of this debate. Mr. Speaker, let's get the fundamentals of this exemption right. Minority leader was crying from the rooftops, we've got to step it down, we've got to withdraw it, we've got to do all sorts of things that Mr. Speaker is talking about. Even though I appreciate that he's not listening to what I'm saying. The minority leader is not listening, he is consciously conversing, but he's making an argument on a point that I think he would have to listen and then comprehend the basis of. Mr. Speaker, number one, he says that we should withdraw the exemptions. I have been asking my colleagues around if any exemption bill has been introduced in the House yet. One, I don't know what is asking the House to withdraw. Number two, what they are talking about seems to be a document that has been presented to the Ministry of Finance, which Ministry of Finance has presented to the Finance Committee of this House, which the committee should be working on. Mr. Speaker, the committee has not even worked on it. The essence of, Mr. Speaker, submission or laying of this document and then referral to a committee is for the committee to look at the details and then to prune it down. Mr. Speaker, it is for the committee, the Finance Committee of the House, to look at it and, Mr. Speaker, present a report to the plenary. We don't have any such thing, and then all I hear is the minority leader crying and shouting on the top of his voice for the finance minister, Mr. Speaker, to withdraw it. It doesn't seem to make any reason to me. Number two, Mr. Speaker, and this is critical. a country takes a deliberate decision, Mr. Speaker, to introduce industrialization in its system, and it operates all over the world. All over the world, countries make intentional, deliberate decisions, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that industrialization shoots off. And this is almost invariably done on the back of some facilities that the country introduces and provides to the communities, the financial community, the individuals who, Mr. Speaker, have the capital to invest in the country. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, the member from Assin Central, talked about Central. Central as a company, Mr. Speaker, is investing as much as 5 billion in the economy. Now, what the company is asking for, Mr. Speaker, is to be exempted. I think they should quite understand this concept of exemption. The government is not going to give a pack of money to these companies. That is not how it works. They are saying that we intend to invest so much money. On the back of this investment, what we're asking the state to do is to grant us some facilities. Mr. Speaker, what is all this business, this hee-ho, bali-ho, this noise about you don't do this, we won't grant your approval.
Honorable members, please, let's listen to him.
Mr. Speaker, it is completely unfair for the argument that they make to piggyback on the exemptions. They are completely two diametrically opposed issues. The 400 million, 420 million that they are comparing is not the same. Government is not giving the 400 million to these companies. It is completely wrong. It's saying that if we bring in this item, try to wave something on the back of it for us. It isn't the same thing. I encourage my colleagues on the other side who are engaged in so much talking and are not listening to the argument, Mr. Speaker, to accept the argument and to know that we are talking about different things. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, very much for the opportunity.
Well, let me call Minister. I'll come to you. I'll give you time. So So let me call Honorable Ampem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Ranking, I just saw you. He has been.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am happy to contribute to this debate. But, Mr. Speaker, we are being called upon to give approval for a $300 million facility. And Mr. Speaker, when earlier contributors mentioned that they are not comfortable because there is no specific projects that has been stated that this $300 million is going to fund, they say so rightly, Mr. Speaker. It is true, it is meant for a budgetary support. But Mr. Speaker, by approving this amount to this government, we are allowing them to spend this amount of money on any aspect of the budget that has been approved by this House. It means that we are giving them a blank check and they have liberty to spend it on just anything, including their costly, cabinet meetings that they've been holding, including the fuel that they've been spending running around. This is a blank check being given to them. Mr. Speaker, look at where the economy of this country has been run to. It is mainly because of the excessive borrowing by this government. We have borrowed to the extent that we have been restricted access to international bond market. Ordinarily, this IDA facility is one of the facilities that we shouldn't make noise about. But what is it going to finance? I would have been comfortable if they were able to tell me that this facility is going to build a number of classroom blocks. I would have been comfortable if they were able to tell us that this facility is going to construct a specific roads. But for this blank check, it is a very dangerous thing for us. Now, Mr. Speaker, when leader and others mention that we have given a lot of money away through tax exemptions, what the Deputy Minister for Finance stated that their local companies. So what, Mr. Speaker? We have given a lot of exemptions to even local and foreign companies. And what assessment have we done to ensure that we have actually reaped any benefit from the many exemptions that we have given? We have ended up giving out exemptions free to our cronies. Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue along these lines. Mr. Speaker, this loan is coming as a result of the IMF agreement that we have. But as we sit here, we have not cited the IMF agreement. So we are of the opinion that until the IMF agreement is laid before us for us to scrutinize it, we cannot continue to be allowing all these things to go on. So, Mr. Speaker, let us vote massively against this. Let them go and come back with specific projects that this $300 million is going to finance. You cannot just take $300 million and use it just for anything. Come with a list of projects from the budget that has been approved and tell us that these are the projects that this $300 million is going to finance. Once we know, we can go back and cross-check that these projects have happened. Otherwise, we on this side will not support this facility.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Very well. I want the finance minister to close it. So Finance Minister, Honorable Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, but
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable,
I want to thank.
Honorable, just hold on. Honorable Adongo. Let me just speak. Then Finance Minister will close it.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I have taken my time to read the report. Mr. Speaker, as the ranking member of the committee, it is quite clear that the reasons that are given here.
That is why I have given you the opportunity.
Yes, those reasons have nothing to do with this loan agreement. As a ranking member, I made it clear that we will not support any loan emanating from the IMF agreement unless the IMF agreement itself is laid here. Mr. Speaker, these tax exemptions they are stating, I cannot substantiate the figures. The chairman has refused to bring those exemptions to the committee. And because of that, we do not even know how much is involved. And I cannot support an argument that I am rejecting this loan for tax exemptions that I have not seen. Tax exemptions that I cannot substantiate the numbers. But Mr. Speaker, under Article 181 of our Constitution, the IMF agreement is an international business transaction. And we require that agreement to be laid before this House and approved. In the absence of that, we cannot approve any loans that emanate from that. And this concession agreement is out of the $1.5 billion that the IMF is advancing for the IMF program. The World Bank is giving for the World Bank IMF program. So on what basis? On what basis are you asking us to approve a loan from the World Bank which is drawing from an IMF program that this House has been denied the right to approve? Mr. Speaker, you may fight and win today, but you will fight as long as you refuse to bring the IMF agreement to this House. Mr. Speaker, September brought the IMF agreement here. The ECF agreement was laid in this House, debated and approved. Why are they running away from laying the IMF program? Mr. Speaker, we cannot continue to allow the executive to disrespect Parliament, take away the powers of Parliament, and continue to come to us seeking for favors. Mr. Speaker, I want to call on the Minister for Finance. If Ken Oforiatta was afraid to bring it, Dr. Mohamed Amin, come and lay this agreement before this House, so that we can be properly situated in our conversation related to loans drawing from that agreement. Mr. Speaker,
on this note, I reject this loan entirely, and I call the government and the executive to run away from hiding from the IMF program and lay it in this house for the people of Ghana to approve it for them. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Lastly, I will invite the finance minister to address some of the issues that have been, then we'll put the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank honorable members from both sides for the statements they have made on this facility that we are considering. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to clarify a few issues. First of all, this is not an IMF facility. It is a World Bank facility. It is a concessional facility, 25 years repayment period, a grace period of 5 years, interest of about 1.25%, and it has a grant element of 26%. It's concessional, and this house is familiar with said concessional facilities. Secondly, it is for budget support. This same house approved the financing for the 2024 budget, total financing of about 61 billion. And this is one of the facilities that we are pursuing to finance the financing for the 2024 budget. Yes. And therefore, as we already know, the 2024 budget through this house allocated resources to different projects and programs for the year. And so what this money will do is to come to the pool, as we know, to support the implementation of these programs for the year. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to also correct a statement, I think, on page 7, to the effect that the Ministry of Finance is preparing about 7 billion Ghana cedis of exemptions to be brought to Parliament for consideration. Mr. Speaker, I'm not aware of this, and I'm not preparing exemptions of about 7 billion Ghana cedis for consideration by Parliament. But, Mr. Speaker, having said this, I've taken note of the concerns of honorable members, particularly my friends from the other side, regarding the exemptions, the tax exemptions for some projects. And I want to assure them that I will take a look at these exemptions, I will rationalize it, I will review it, and I'll come back in 2 weeks to report to Parliament. And I hope that when I come, honorable members will support me in whatever rationalization we are going to do. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minister, have you finished?
Mr. Speaker, based on what I have just said, I want to appeal to members to support this facility. It is budget support. It will help us implement the programs of government for job creation, so we can also be able to take care of the vulnerable and the poor in our society. So I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. Honorable Ato, you've already spoken. What? Very well. Make the appeal to him.
Mr. Speaker, I'm only speaking because I made a personal plea to the minister and asked him, as the new minister responsible for finance, to Minister of Finance Domestic, Mr. Speaker, for him to lead this process. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad that at the minimum, he has given this House some assurances that he is going to review the tax exemptions before us. Mr. Speaker, I would have wished that he withdraws all of them today. But he said he can't do it today. But he will come back in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Mr. Speaker. He's saying that he's coming back in 2 weeks. Mr. Speaker, I urge you, Mr. Speaker, to give him a day, 2 weeks, that will hold him accountable. We'll hold him accountable for that review, so that he will come and withdraw these tax exemptions, Mr. Speaker, for all of us to buy in. Mr. Speaker, finally, Mr. Speaker,
whilst he was speaking, he also said that the loan is a concessional loan. I beg to say that, Honourable Minister, your loan is not a concessional loan. It doesn't meet the minimum 35% concessionality. The grant element is 26% and not 35%. So it's not a concessional loan, it's a commercial loan, and it should be taken for as such. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. On that note, yes, please, sir.
Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes, I assured honourable colleagues on the other side that I will take a review of the exemptions and come back to Parliament. But I also know that they have concerns about some specific projects. And so I'll be happy they share with me those projects they have issues with, so that I can consult with them, we can discuss it, and then come back with a review that will serve the interests of the Ghanaian people. I thank you.
Honourable members, I'll put the question on.
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable, please.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Parliament. Honourable Chief Whip.
2 weeks, Parliament rises.
Honourable Chief Whip. Let me. Honourable members, as many as. Oh, Honourable Leader, we spent so much time on this.
Mr. Speaker, we have heard the firm assurance of the Honourable Minister for Finance, but we know that he is co-managing the economy now with the IMF and the World Bank, and there are standards and thresholds of borrowing. We want a firm assurance from the Honourable Minister for Finance that he is within the limits of the IMF World Bank threshold of borrowing, and that this facility is not a commercial facility. To that extent of that assurance, you may be able to put the question. But we need a firm assurance, because, Mr. Speaker, we know that the IMF World Bank have said that Ghana should not take any loan that is commercial, and that we only as a country can go for concessionary loans. We need an assurance that he takes responsibility that this loan falls within the threshold. And Mr. Speaker, before we rise, he should come with an update of how much he intends to borrow and how much he can borrow. With that assurance, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you, former leader. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to assure the honourable colleague that the borrowing restrictions do not cover loans from multilaterals. The World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank, those are exempted from the borrowing restrictions. And so there is no problem at all as far as this facility from the World Bank is concerned. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, honourable members. Honourable, at the conclusion of the debate, honourable, at the conclusion of the debate.
Mr. Speaker, it's just an information.
Yes.
The minister said he will be here in 2 weeks. Parliament rises on 21st. We don't even have 2 weeks for him to do that. So he needs to give us a specific date. That's what I want to say. Parliament rises on 21st. So where is your 3 weeks ending?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, he is giving an assurance to the House that we should give him 2 weeks. The fact that we'll be rising on 21st does not mean that, Mr. Speaker, we would not be available to receive whatever information he would. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter for leadership to work with the finance minister on. So we'll deal with him on that. Be assured that we'll work together to make sure that the necessary information you need after his review is given. That is all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favour of the motion listed 18 in today's order paper, say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, it's obvious, the ayes have it. And the motion is adopted.
Mr. Speaker, may we take item 19, motion. And 19.
Honorable members, please. Yes. So we have listed 19. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution captured on item 19 on pages 11 and 12 of today's order paper.
Minister, hold on. Honorable members. Honorable members, please, let's listen to the minister. Yes, Minister, let's hear you.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the resolution captured as item 19 on pages 11 and 12 of today's order paper be adopted now. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member for Kaikui Central.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, the resolution listed 19 has been moved by the minister and has been seconded by the vice chairman of the finance committee. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The resolution listed 19 in today's order paper is adopted. Yes, leadership.
Speaker, may we revert now to item 6. Item 6.
Yes, honorable members, as I said earlier on, the business statement is now going to be given chance to be read to us. So let me invite the leader of the house. Oh, honorable members, let's invite the leader of the house to read the business statement for the ensuing week to the house. So, honorable leader.
Mr. Speaker, your committee met yesterday.
Honorable leader, please come to the podium.
Mr. Speaker, your committee met yesterday and arranged the business of the House for the 6th week ending Friday the 15th of March 2024. Mr. Speaker, the report of your committee has been printed and circulated. Members have copies, and I therefore will rely on saying without more. Mr. Speaker, again, the order in which the business of the ensuing week is to be conducted has also been attached. Mr. Speaker, it's a 7-page document which has all the details of what is to be expected of us from Monday to Friday. Mr. Speaker, having done so, I shall, Mr. Speaker, rely on Order 67 to submit this report and pray that the House does adopt same. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, honorable members, the business statement has been read to us. If there's any issue any member would like to raise. Yes, honorable member for Who Central.
Mr. Speaker, I have observed that we don't give any proper attention to urgent questions when they are filed as urgent questions.
after securing their tea drinking money.
Honorable members, please, order in the House is very important. Yes, Honorable Member for Who Central, continue.
Yeah, so, Mr. Speaker, the other day people complained about having filed urgent questions which were fielded 2 years after the filing. And I have filed an urgent question. Mr. Speaker is not. Mr. Speaker, I have filed an urgent question to the Minister for Finance. He is here, and this thing was last week. I don't know why he has not answered the question, and it has not even been programmed for him to answer early next week. But he is sitting down here with us, and that question is so important.
Hold on, majority leadership. If all abandon the seat, the front seat. Yes, Honorable Podo, please continue.
So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that I filed an urgent question last week to the Minister for Finance. He is here today. He has not answered it. It has not even been programmed for him to answer, say, early next week. That is what I'm worried about. That's why I'm raising the question. Many people have sometimes it takes 2 years for urgent questions to be fielded. What are we doing here?
Have you finished?
I thought that I didn't catch your attention. That's why I'm waiting for you.
Where is the leader?
Have you finished, Honorable Podo?
Where is the majority leader?
But, Honorable Chief Whip, are you taking note of what he's saying? You are taking note.
So may I answer my colleague's concern? Respond to him.
Honorable Podo, just conclude. They are taking note. We will respond to you.
No, what I'm saying is that I want to be assured when that question will be fielded and answered. I'm asking when that question will be fielded and answered by the Minister of Finance. He is here with us.
Well. Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader presented a business statement and all of a sudden vanished until now. So we beg him, he should come and take the response.
Well. So let me come to a member for Crowell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I plead your indulgence to raise a matter of urgent public interest for the Minister for Health to come before the House to tell us Ghana's position on the revised International Health Regulation 2005 and what Ghana's stand or position is as to whether we are ratifying it or we are opting out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, why don't you bring the Minister yourself through question? You can file a question and the Minister will be obliged to come and answer the question. So do that. You can do it. You can file an urgent question.
Mr. Speaker, there are so many outstanding urgent questions that have not been attended to. And since this is urgent for us to have information and to be able to speak to it in public, I think that if you permit and allow for this to come, I pray you, please.
But, Honorable Member, you know, now
Mr. Speaker, please.
we don't have a substantive Minister for Health now. So it's going to take some time to even readjust to that. So I will advise that under the circumstances, if you can file an urgent question so that the minister will come and answer.
Mr. Speaker, that even supports my point that even if it comes under urgent question, it will not be responded to now.
So since we don't have a substantive minister I cannot direct now. So do that. I know the minister has been vetted yesterday. Hopefully the report will come to the House for us to consider. Then, so just do the urgent question. And I hope it will be admitted for the minister to come and address it. Yes, Honorable Sam George.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the request made by the Honorable Namomo, the MP for Crow, is one that should worry and disturb the mind of every member of Parliament. I raised this issue in the last meeting of Parliament about the revised international health regulations and what it means for the sovereignty of Ghana's Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this House is rising or scheduled to rise on the 22nd of this month. The IHRs come into force in the first week of April. Now, Mr. Speaker, what the IHR does is that it takes away the power to declare a pandemic and lockdowns from Parliament and puts it in the hand of the WHO, which is not an elected member state. In the European Parliament, European countries are opting out of it. The British House of Commons held a whole session on this and has opted out of it. The US is opting out of it. Unless Ghana takes a position, automatically our hands are tied. Mr. Speaker, when COVID happened, Mr. President came to this House with the executive instrument for us to approve it, because we are the sovereign Parliament of Ghana. We cannot cede our legislative function and power to unelected people sitting in Geneva, Switzerland. It is important that whoever is the acting minister comes before this House and let us discuss it with him, and let the acting minister get the position from cabinet before the first week of April. Else, Mr. Speaker, we will be sitting in Ghana and the WHO will declare a pandemic in our country and declare a lockdown and a shutdown. Let us not joke with it. That is the text of the IHR.
Well. I hope the leaders have heard it. So, leadership, Honorable, can you respond to a couple of the issues members have raised and read?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, there are questions that are pending and some of the issues they've raised. I think we work together with the table office to ensure that they program those questions. Mr. Speaker, that was what they were trying to do, and colleagues said that they don't need the questions to be programmed, and that came from the minority leader himself. So we'll see to it that they program those questions next week. So, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the briefing by the health minister, I would want to sit down with the leadership of the minority so that we get a good date for the colleague. We'll get a good date. We would agree and get a good date. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May you gabble for the adoption of the...
Honourable members, the business statement for the ensuing week has been read to us, and it has been thoroughly discussed. The question is all those, and I hope we are all in addendum. So the business statement is hereby adopted. Yes. Yes, leadership. I come back to you for direction.
We are not down with
Mr. Speaker, adjournment to Monday. We are done for today. So, Mr. Speaker, I pray that this House stands at Monday till Monday 10 in the forenoon or soon thereafter. Mr. Speaker, I so pray.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the business statement as adopted has agreed that we meet on Monday. Mr. Speaker, today is a Friday. Mr. Speaker, ideally today we shouldn't have worked because of the sad incidents that happened yesterday with our colleague. But unfortunately, our brothers here and sisters felt that this is the time for them to approve a loan. Mr. Speaker, if they are saying that we should adjourn, Mr. Speaker, I have no objection than to second the motion. Today is a special day, and I think it's a moment for us to mourn our colleague who has just departed. Mr. Speaker, I so second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, I'll put the question, and the question is all those in favor of the motion moved by the Leader of the House for the adjournment of today's sitting, for which the motion has also been seconded by the Minority Leader. All those in favor say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion for adjournment is carried. Honourable members, let me thank all of you for your cooperation. And on that note, the House is accordingly adjourned to Monday, 10 o'clock in the forenoon. The House stands adjourned.